So, my name is Elias. I'm 21 years old. I'm from Munich in Germany. I've been building businesses for about 2 years, a bit more than that now. I started in September 2022. I've had four different companies so far. First one wasn't successful. Second one was, okay. Third one and fourth one as well. But we're on our way to hit the target that we want to hit, which right now is 1 million a month. And yeah, we are all about getting there with extreme high pace. That is into every direction, whether that's content, sales team, whether that's marketing like ads, webinars, etc., etc. And this masterclass will be a teaser for a webinar that we're going to have on Wednesday, right? So that is tomorrow. That masterclass tomorrow is going to go into a lot of different details about what we do, how we do it, and everything else. It's going to be a 2 hour breakdown and just pure value. Obviously, we do have products, we have a company, and we obviously have stuff to sell, but it's not the focus. And here, it's not the focus at all, either way, right? We want you guys to get the most amount of value possible out of this, right? And we're always very, very authentic and transparent with why we do things. It's very simple. The webinars we do, the masterclasses we do them because the more we do those, the wider the audience that we reach, the more people's lives we can impact positively, provide lots of value to them, make them a lot more money. And in the aftermath of that, we obviously also benefit financially. So that will be my intro. Daniel, you can go as well if you want to go for it.
That's what's up. That's what's up. Okay, so my name is Daniel Joel Mbang, and I've been a marketing agency owner since February 1st, right? And I started just like most of you guys, I assume, in Mbang's course. He sold me, right? It didn't take him much though. Took him like one video. So I watched this one video of him buying his mom a $4 million house, right? And I was like, bro, like, how the fuck is this guy same age as me buying his mom a $4 million house? I never seen that before. Like I'm literally a football player. I used to play football professionally, and for me it was like I was sleeping my whole entire life up until that point, right? So I bought into Mbang's course, and I figured out that they were selling this dream of 10K a month, right? You guys probably know that that campaign that they're running every single time, that little dream. And for me, I was like, no, I knew in my heart that 10K a month isn't enough. Like that isn't the goal, right? I can't take care of my family, let alone take care of myself with 10K, right? And my goal was to hit 50K a month, right, in 6 months. So that was my goal. So going into that with that mindset, I started selling appointment setting services inside of the community, right? Because I figured that people had problems booking appointments, right? So where there's the demand, I'm there, right there with the supply, right? And started selling that for any single price point. Like I didn't care at that point. I needed money like I needed air, right? So I would sell it for like $700, like $1,000, $1,500, whatever it was, I would just sell, right? And I scaled past the magical 10K a month within 2 weeks, right? Doing that. So I didn't leave the house. I ate the same meal every single day. I woke up, I pitched, I ate, I trained, I went to sleep. I had no life, no contact with family, friends. I neglected everyone, right? That's the only thing that I did. And something that I realized is that if I'm going to sell low ticket, right, up to the point that I want to hit my goal, I'm going to lose my hair doing that, right? Because I would be on so many client calls trying to pitch people that it would be a mess, right? So I transitioned into selling growth packages to HVAC companies, right? So once I did that and I solved for the entire funnel, like I knew that I can't just solve for one solution, right? That's retarded. So I knew that the closer I got to the money, right, meaning that I do the marketing and I also sold for the sales side of the company, that I would get paid more, right? And by doing that, I sold my first growth package. I think was 2 weeks after I switched from the appointment setting offer. I closed my first 12.5K deal, right? And I closed this deal, was a 5-figure deal, on one single day, right? And I remember that day, like, fuck, okay, I got something now, right? It's done. I'm going to take over the game. I felt on top of the world at that moment. And what happened? I tried to pitch that. I tried to sell it. I invested into ads as well. So I had a direct book a call funnel. I was running that simple headline, VSL, application done, right? And like it took me like 3 weeks to get my second sale, right? But the second sale that I had was a 30K deal. And I managed to do that by simply communicating the perceived value of my offer differently. So what did I do? I asked myself the question, how the fuck can I get someone to wire me over 5 figures on a Zoom call, right? And for me, the answer was clear, right? Like at that point, I invested a fuck ton in education, like mentors, like programs, coachings. Like I got scammed twice, right? So it's an interesting story. Now, I learned something extremely valuable. I learned how to financially model, right? And this financial modeling is simply calculating the potential growth that you can add to the business that you're trying to help get richer, right? Now, when I figured out how to do this, right, it was a game changer. I would literally jump on calls, share my screen, plugged in the current stats that the business had, right, and just spit out projections, what we could make, right, what kind of ad spend we would need to get this certain outcome, what tweaks we need to make, maybe change the price point, like change the sales process in the back end, right? Like so many actions that could be made to tweak these different statistics to make sure that we generate the desired outcome in a certain timeline, right, for my client. And when I knew how to do that, done. Then the ball went rolling, man. The ball went rolling. Closed another 20K deal after that. Like I went viral for a short period of time because I was still in Iman Ghazi's course, to be fair. And he started posting me, right? He used me, he milked me out, guys, to get him more money, which is normal. We're still cool, by the way, right? I'm not mad at him. But yeah, so Iman Ghazi, he milked me out. And yeah, I was his biggest case study. So what happened? He posted me everywhere. And guys, without exaggeration, like I got like 200, 300 DMs every single day from people asking me, how the fuck do you get people to wire you fucking 5 figures? Right? And yeah, then I began my like the coaching offer that I had. And I started combining that, started targeting other personal brands as well, right? That aligned with my offer. And I implemented something that's called the Ascension funnel, right? And that's where my business partner Elias came in, because once I was making around 50K a month, right? Because I had the goal of making 50K a month, right? By the way, I reached that goal in like 3 months, right? Because I wouldn't do nothing else, man. I had no social life, nothing. I would just pitch every single fucking day, right? And Elias came in. We implemented the Ascension funnel, where we had a low ticket offer, right? A do it on your own, a do it yourself offer. And then we transitioned it. We let people transition and transcend into our done with you product, which is the coaching, right? And the one-on-one mentorship. And then we have our done for you product, where we have larger clients that we would charge 10K a month and a 10% net rev share, right? So there would be infinite upside for the people that we had in our done for you offer, right? And the incentives there completely different, right? So that's something that we realized that we wanted to share with people, this ascension funnel, right? Because we all know that, hey, charging 2K, 1K, like you can't do that, man. Like you can't do that for to fucking hit 100, 500K a month. Like your head would explode, right, doing that. So what do you need to do then to solve that specific problem? You need to literally sell to a different client type. You need to sell to wealthier people, right? To the right people. Because selling to broke people, bro, you will have a headache, man. Like I know that you guys probably had some horror stories about some poor people that you try to work with. You're genuinely super slow. When they invest with you, like they have like super high expectations because for them it's like betting their house away, right? But to drive this point home is that you want to sell to rich people. Now, selling to rich people is it's extremely hard. I'm not going to lie. It's not easy at all. These people are fucking straightforward, straight to the point. They don't like to play games. Like your VSLs and everything, like your messaging needs to be congruent. You need to only speak to that target demographic. You can't allow poor people to come inside your phone. Like there's a lot of nuances that come with selling to rich people and crafting offers that appeal to rich people as well, right? So what we wanted to do with this masterclass that we have coming up tomorrow is literally going over what we did, right? And the offers that we have that would appeal to that demographic that is more financially well off, right? And really go out of our way to explain the ascension funnel because selling to rich people, you can do it in two ways, right? You can go like direct book call funnel, speak to them and just say, hey, only a demographic that makes this amount of money can come through a funnel. Otherwise, you just are disqualified, whatever, right? But you will see that your cost per lead will go through the roof, right? Which is natural. But not everyone has that ad budget to spend like that, right? So what I implemented myself as well was an ascension funnel where we would just pitch everyone, right? But we would put everyone in the bucket where they would that would suit that situation. I even have something like right now, as we speak today, I have something for the poor people, right? I have a poor people rookie guide course, right, which is completely free. We have the low ticket offer, which is $1,000 a month, right? Where we have a 6-week training, and the result out of that would be, hey, you come out of the other side with different a set of skills, set of strategies, right, that you can pull out from, set of leverage actions that you can take to get people and to help your target demographic hit 100K months, right? So everything we know as of knowledge, but you have to do it yourself. Then we have a mid-ticket one, where we ascend people from the low ticket to the mid-ticket, right, in that certain time frame. So after 6 weeks, our salespeople get notified to reach out to these people and try to sell them on the mid-ticket one. But it's not like a hard sell, right? It's a permission-based sales call that we put in place, just to ask these people, does it make sense to like talk about the next opportunity that we have for you, which in results generates a bigger result, right? So that's more like one-on-one access to myself and like Elias, right? Where we jump on calls every single week, one-on-one, right? And have a group call, like a Telegram group chat with other rich people trying to get a hell of a lot richer, right? And then once they get the desired result from that done with you product, right? Which for us is like when you hit 50K a month, we We hit you up to see if you want to get it to the next level, right? And then we have our done for you product, where now we also have a direct response for that one, but we also have people that ascend and transcend from these low tickets to our higher ticket offer, right? And that's mainly how we do it. And that increases LTV a fuck ton. And by doing that, we managed to scale to 200K per month today. So that's in big lines how we did it, right? There's of course a lot of nuances behind it and like some things that we're going to go more in depth about. But this is like the outline of what we are going to talk about when it comes to the ascension funnel. So it's a lot of gems. Is the fuck ton of advanced information. Like people don't really talk about these stuff on YouTube and like all these other gurus, right? So for us, it's really yeah, it's really fulfilling to bring something like that out there and also be straightforward, right? I'm looking for these people that I can get into my higher ticket product that I can help make more money so that they pay me 10K per month, and then I can charge like 10% from their net rev share, which sounds extremely fair, right? And bro, it's extremely hard to find these people, not gonna lie, right? So I want to make my bucket as big as possible and give everyone the opportunity to work with the A players like myself and Elias to make sure that we get as much people as possible in that done for you program, right? Or done for you offer that we have, just to make sure that we hit $1 million a month. Because my goal and Elias's goal as well is to get one client to wire us fucking 100 bands, right? Every single month, and we want 10 of these monsters, 10 of these killers, right? And yeah, that's our intention behind it, right? So it's always a win-win situation, but people appreciate it when we are straightforward like that. So yeah, that's a little bit about the masterclass that is coming up, right? Elias, do you want to share something?
Yes, of course, I would love to. So, because obviously we talked a lot about what's important, what's not important, etc., etc., what I wanted to dive into mainly right now is just a couple of snippets of what we're going to be covering tomorrow. So, really just giving you raw, authentic, in-depth, detailed value on specifically what you need to implement to actually scale. Because you need to keep in mind, you've heard this before, and I know you've heard it before, right? Every single person has the same 24 hours in the day. So how are there people that make so much more money than you in less time and you're still stuck at that level? It's because you miss a few certain details, right? I was told a couple months ago, and this really changed a lot about my perspective, that in this market, generally speaking, there's information on all ends. There's an overload of it everywhere, right? Quantity of information is not a problem at all. It's easy to find, right? The problem is quality of information. The quality of information that you have access to determines how fast you're able to grow and how fast you're able to increase the revenue and profits in your business. Okay. So two topics that I want to dive into in detail right now to give you again a snippet of what we're going to be covering tomorrow is, first off, the difference between low and high ticket, and second off, how you can price properly. Okay. Now, I know that this sounds like very boring topics, but again, the things that we did to get to the level we're at right now with the organization, and that are going to continue to help us in the future as well to get to the levels that we want to get to, are fucking boring, right? So you need to understand these things. Very important. First one, difference between low and high ticket. I know Daniel touched upon this a lot already, that selling high tickets to people that have deep pockets is one of the most important things that you have to be doing in your business. And I'll break it down for you now. Okay. So first off, how can you even identify where you can find these people? You need to understand one thing fundamentally. In every single industry, in every single market that you would consider to get into, there are people that have lots of money, and there are people that have no money, and there are people that are in between. What most people do that own a B2B service-based company, or an agency in this case, is they say to themselves, okay, so the low ticket guys, right, they can't pay me really. The high ticket guys are too high level for me, so let me focus on the middle. That's the biggest mistake that you could make, because that's who everybody hits up. And in addition to that, those are the specific people that are on the edge to not being able to pay you anymore, right? Which doesn't make any sense at all. The best market to focus on is always the high end of the market. Low end doesn't make sense at all. They either way can't pay you. And the middle in the market doesn't make sense either, because they are on the edge of falling down into the low end, and they are always struggling financially and living paycheck to paycheck. So that's not a good market to target either way, or a good segment of the market. Okay. So again, to emphasize this, you want to target the highest segment of the market. Okay. So that's very important. Now, when you price high ticket, you need to understand why it is important in the first place. And the most important thing about this is literally just the data and the numbers. Okay. So we had this situation where guys that we know, through one corner, they have a pretty big podcast. And what they were saying is, yeah, they want to build a new venture, launch a new offer that they can build up to 1 million a month, right? Now, I'm not able to say what that podcast is, but I can guarantee you most of you in here will know that podcast, because they get tens of millions and hundreds of millions of views, right? And they said, okay, they want to launch a new offer and bring it to the market. And they said, okay, their goal is to reach 1 million per month with that offer. And their idea was to launch a school community where they would charge $30 a month, right, for information on, how to set up a podcast and just do a couple of those things. Just basically a lot about self-improvement, because at that ticket price, you can't really offer much more. You don't really have an incentive at all to actually give the people that pay you the things that they actually need, right? $30 is nothing, especially for somebody that already earns a lot of money. So what was told to them, right, was that that's fucking stupid. Do the math on that. If they want to make 1 million a month in revenue, right, grossing 1 million, they literally have to sell 33,333 people on that offer. In comparison, if you have an offer that's 100K, that's only suited for people that make a lot of money and have a lot of money, how much more easy and likely is it to sign 10 people for that offer? Now, is it harder to find people that have more money? Yes, because there's fewer of them. Now, is it harder to sign them because obviously you have to show them more logically why it makes sense, you have to really put time in, etc., etc.? Yes. But truly ask yourself, what's easier? Selling 33K people on a $30 offer, or 10 people on a 100K offer? I can guarantee you it's the second one. Okay? Extremely important. In addition to that, they could do an upsell. So for example, with these podcast guys, they could set up a offer that's 100K, that's a mastermind that goes in detail about every single thing they do to do their podcast. So everybody that was there could do the exact same thing as them. They could implement an upsell where they say, okay, we charge, let's say 200 or 250K to set up the podcasts for them, done for you. Now, do you think that somebody that is willing to spend a good amount of money because they want to build a podcast that's at least as big as theirs, do you think that that type of person that already obviously has a lot of money is willing to spend 200K to have all of this technical bullshit that nobody knows about built for them completely A to Z? 100%. And again, that's so much easier than selling 33K people on a $30 offer. You have to run so many ads for that, do organic, do this, do that. It doesn't make any sense. In business, you always want to do what is the easiest path to make the most amount of money, the quickest, whilst still keeping up quality and providing the value that my clients want. And in almost all instances, that lowest hanging fruit is, again, high ticket pricing. So that's the difference between low and high ticket, and why it only makes sense to charge high ticket and target the highest segment of the market. That is that. Now, we obviously talked a lot about, okay, you have to target people that have money. You have to charge a lot, right? That's the best way to have scalability and profitability in your business early on as well. Now, the question becomes, How can we actually do that? How can you raise your price to that level? What do you have to take into account to do that? I'll run through this quickly now because, again, we will be covering that in depth tomorrow as well. But just to give you a glimpse of what it's about, okay? So there are 6 different specific parts that you have to keep in mind when wanting to price like we just discussed, okay? The first one being impression. Truly ask yourself right now, the price that you're currently charging for your product or service, when you pitch somebody on that price and you tell them the price, what does the price that you tell them signal to your prospect? This is really easy. You fundamentally have to understand what is the impression that my pricing gives off. Okay? I'll give you an example here. If we take on agency clients for 10K a month in retainers plus 10% net revenue share, okay, and we compare that to just charging 5K per month, what is the impression that people get from the 10K a month plus a 10% net revenue share offer in comparison to the 5K a month offer without the net revenue share? Very simple. First off, and this is the easiest one, and I know that everybody in here could guess this, the quality, right? If somebody tells me they charge 10K a month for their product or service, I know that they deliver fucking amazing results, because otherwise they wouldn't be able to charge that, okay? The 5K a month product, you know it will make you way less money than the 10K a month product, right? Simple as that. It's an indication for the quality. That's the impression you give off. And this is not saying, by the way, if you charge less, that any of you guys cannot deliver or cannot provide amazing results or make people a lot of money. But this is saying, no matter how good your delivery is, if you price that way, that's the impression people get of you. Which means that less people will sign, and the ones that do sign get less results because of the perception they have of you, your company, your service, and the results that you're able to provide. All of you know that the things that you believe subconsciously will always manifest in your reality. And it's the same thing for your client. If they think you cannot deliver up until a certain point, you won't, because they will hinder you in doing that subconsciously. So that's the impression, okay? Second point, incentives. And this is very important. We recommend every single person in here to charge revenue shares, net revenue shares. Why is that? Very simple. When you charge a revenue share, there is a certain incentive that you have bound to that. If we charge 10% net revenue share from our clients, what does that signal, again, to them? What is the incentive that we have? Very simple. We are incentivized to go above and beyond for them, and go above and beyond, not on revenue, not to bring them more revenue but don't care about the profits, but to go above and beyond on bringing them as many profits as fucking possible, because again, we get incentivized on the net revenue share, not revenue, right? So we have to make them as much profit as possible. And again, as Daniel said, if we want to be paid 6 figures per month per client, we have to make them $1 million additional in profits per month. This is very important. A lot of you will now think that that's a very hard thing to do, and it's absolutely fucking not. Because business is a very simple thing to do. Now, it's complex in its details, but the thing is that making people a lot more money or increasing their margins by a lot or do whatever that has a big impact on their business doesn't take you more time. I can guarantee you it takes us less time to deliver amazing results for some of our clients than it takes you to deliver a 2x ROI on somebody that pays you basically nothing, right? And the reason being is because you have to be able to pick out the right things to prioritize. It all comes down to prioritization, okay? I don't, again, want to dive into too much detail here. We'll do that tomorrow, but that is incentives. You want to make sure that the incentives are clear. And incentives is not something that is being spoken about, right? Nobody says, oh, you're being paid a net revenue share, so obviously it makes sense because, you know, you're incentivized by the profits. No, that's not what people say. It's nothing that's said or spoken about. It's something that is subconsciously understood. Simple as that, okay? Number 3, timing. This is very important. We talked about why you should charge a lot. We talked about why you should target the high end of the market. But what you have to understand is not only how to price, but mainly also when to price and what to do with it. Okay, that's very important. Now, what do I mean by this? With timing, what you do is you look at the close rate that you have. We had one particular client within the inner circle that came to us and said, "Oh, yeah, I have an 80% close rate." And he was bragging to us about how crazy good he is at sales. And he actually thought that that was a flex. It's not at all. And the reason being is because if you have an 80% close rate, it means that you are heavily undercharging yourself. Okay. Now, in that instance, in the instance that you see, hey, there is not enough what? Friction for my buyer, you have to up the price immediately, double to triple in this instance. Okay. And then what's going to happen is you assess the close rate over a specific time frame, dependent on the ad spend, for example, in this case, that you have. Let's say 1 week. After 1 week, you look at the close rate. If the close rate remained around the same, bump the price again. If the close rate dropped significantly, what you just found, then you can do two things. You go down a bit below the value ceiling until you find the sweet spot where you get high quality clients that pay you as much as you can, but at the same time, less volume of those and a volume that you can easily handle, right? That's the first one. And the second one is that you can do what? You can increase the LTV. When you hit a value ceiling and you cannot charge above that certain price, right? What you have to do is you have to make sure to increase the LTV to increase your revenue. If you, for example, go to a steakhouse, right? Let's say you go to a steakhouse and the steakhouse charges you $80 for a steak. What they will usually do is they will upsell you for an extra $19 on the butter. Could be, for example, truffle butter, right? Now, to the consumer, and this is very important to understand, to the consumer, it looks like they just purchased an $80 steak alongside with a $19 truffle butter. But to the restaurant, to the steakhouse, they think we just sold this dumbass a $100 steak, right? Why does that work? Because of one thing that's extremely important. You have to implement, when you hit a value ceiling, to increase LTV. When you hit a value ceiling, you have to increase your LTV. And to increase LTV, you have to implement a supplementary product that is perceptually separate to the main one. Again, steakhouse example. Okay, that's timing. Fourth one, announcements. You have to announce a price bump with time frame and what you're gonna bump it up to. Okay, very simple. Why do you have to do that? Very simple, because obviously you want people to know. So you market it, you call people, you text people, you market it on social media. But the thing is this, what happens to your old pipeline that you had in place before you had the price bump? Simple. Ask yourself, if you get an offer from somebody for 10K and a couple days after they say, or a week after, you didn't pull the trigger, they say it's 15K now. Are you gonna think about buying? Fuck no. Because you think that the price bump and you having to pay more is basically a punishment for your inaction. The only way in which you can get the old pipeline still across is if you give them a deal by giving them the old price. And as soon as you've done that and gotten everybody on board, right, then what you can do is you can have a fresh pipeline, and every single one of those people doesn't have the certain, and this is a very important word here, anchor bias that the other people have experienced before. Okay? Simple as that. Announcements, very important. Clears the pipeline. Point number 5, supply chain. This is something none of you have ever heard about. I can guarantee you that, at least in the agency space, because nobody that runs an agency ever talks about supply chain. But let me tell you something. If you're, for example, in the US, when there are elections running in the USA, what happens to the Meta ads platform or any ads platform where there is ad spend on politics ads for the election? Very simple. The cost per lead, the CPL on that certain platform ranks up, right? It goes up so quickly and drops down again, and it's just very, very volatile. Okay. Now, in those times, what do you have to do? Again, we talked about supply chain. You have to increase the price to the point where you profit the same amount. So what do? You hand off the cost to your consumer. You see? And that's what everybody does. That's why I said e-com as well. Supply chains. Okay, let me give you an e-com example to really make you understand what I mean by supply chain here. Okay, so when COVID was, what happened with the supply chain of e-commerce? Very simple. The shipping costs 3x to 4x overnight. What does that mean? Well, obviously, the e-commerce stores and the companies in that certain sector don't want to pay 4 times the price for the shipping. What do? They increase the costs of their product. Again, same thing. They hand off the costs that they would incur to their consumer. Their consumer pays for it, they profit the same. The smartest, and this is the point I want to make here, so listen closely. The smartest people in the entire industry, the biggest companies, have what? Fluid pricing during times where, for example, elections happen, during times where the supply chain, takes hits. They have fluid pricing. What does that mean? They literally decrease and increase their price on the day. So they will look at the day prior and say, okay, what was our cost per lead? What was our CPA, which is cost per acquisition, which most of you should be familiar with. And in accordance to that, they tell their sales team, today the price is this. Fluid pricing, they profit the same amount and hand off the additional cost onto their consumer. Right? Now, why the cost per lead is that volatile during these election cycles, or generally speaking, any events like that? We will talk about that tomorrow. It's not too important, but the point is you want to have fluid pricing during those times if you are at a certain level where you get a good amount of customers every single day. And point number 6, and this is the last point about pricing that I want to make, and then I'll stop my rant. That is ceilings. We already talked about that. Actually, I touched on it earlier. When you hit a value ceiling, the best thing you can do is focus on the LTV. So you have to create a separate supplementary product that is perceptually separate to the main one. Again, boiling back down to the steakhouse example. I'll stop my rant now. Daniel, you can go on. And yeah, that was just a small part of what we're going to cover tomorrow.
Bro, I wanted to say, man, leave some sauce for the masterclass, bro. Damn. That was
Bro,
good.
I
That was
really
good.
wanted to make sure that you guys understand the amount of fucking value that we provide on there. Okay. Now, again, we cover these things tomorrow. So obviously be prepared for that. It's going to be 2 of the topics that we're going to be covering out of the 10 to 12 that we have tomorrow. But I just wanted to show you how fucking detailed this is and how important as well. Right. So yeah, I agree with you, Daniel, but needed to make sure that that's there.
That's what's up. Nah, man, you really bless these people, man. Yeah, man. If that was fire, put a 1 in the chat. Put a 1 in the chat, please, for Elias, man. Like this guy, crazy. That's what's up. 1. Nice. Nah, man. Like we want to answer questions as well, right? Shortly, just for 10 minutes. Then we have to bounce. But yeah. How is this going here? Like, how do we do it on Discord to ask questions? Can we unmute people? Yeah, hey, Aaron or 8.
Yeah,
There we
what
go,
you can do
The
is
boys are back.
So
people
basically,
can
over here we
yeah, I was just saying people can raise their hands, and then we can either bring them on as a speaker, like we have just joined now, and they can ask questions, or they can put something in chat as well.
Okay. Nice. Okay, people
so
that
do you
have.
guys have any questions?
Yeah, go ahead.
Angelo, main question.
Let's see.
Discussion, anything at all? Boss.
One
the
very
invitation.
important. Sorry, bro.
Yo, can you hear me?
Yes, there we go.
All right, perfect. So I need to talk a lot about offering and stuff and reaching to the right audience. I had a question. If you come up with making like a certain new offer in the market, how do you evaluate that this is worth for a certain amount of money, a certain amount of price? If you're charging 5, 10K, how do you evaluate that process of the framework that this is worth 5K, this is worth 10K? And same with the prospect eyes, you can see, yeah, this is what 10K or 5K.
Daniel, shoot for it.
That's human, Elias.
All right, no worries. Okay, so I can put it in simple and into a bit more complex words, but I really want to keep it simple here. Two things, okay? The first one, which is more numbers and data based, is the one where you just have to assess what do you realistically make the average client that you have. We, for example, know that the average client within the inner circle that we have within 3 months makes around an additional 22 or 21,300 something. We actually calculated that today within a 3-month time window added on top of their MRR. So in accordance to the amount of money that you make your average client in the average time frame, you can evaluate the price, okay? And from there, you have to assess, okay, how much do you want to take? We would usually recommend take anything in between 15% to maximum 25% of what you make them in that certain time frame. Simple as that. But another thing, and this is a bit more unconventional that we ask ourselves, is how hard do we feel like we're getting fucked on that value exchange, right? Like we, for example, had a certain client come in. His name is Alex, right? He's one of our best case studies. He came in, he scaled from 0 to 50K cash profit per month within 3.5 months, right? And he scaled a Facebook ads real estate marketing agency, then transitioned into cryptocurrency. So he has a crypto agency now. And his biggest month, and this is 1.5 years later, was $700,000 per a month, right? That's that. Now, with Alex, that's obviously not the typical result. That's not what I want to say. But truly ask yourself now, how hard did he fuck us on that value exchange right there, right? Paid us like, low 5 figures and made that amount of money.
Gotcha.
Does that answer the question, or do you have any follow-up questions on that?
Yeah, I had kind of follow-up question. So I'm moving to like something new, like it's a blue ocean, like kind of niche, or like you can call it like an offer. So if you pick certain blue ocean offer, how do you put in that zone where people know they want it and they need it?
Can you elaborate?
Yeah, so I made a new offer. I'm working with like something new, whereas going for content creators and mixing streaming content with the current content. So someone in the e-commerce space, right? He can't always talk about e-commerce, but people are going to put him in that guru section. So one way he always wants to attract more people. So mixing his content and streaming and his current content that he talks about e-com, mixing the streaming and then clipping it together is going to help him go viral and get more result. But it's kind of like really blue ocean. People really not really heard of it before. So how can I elaborate or evaluate this kind of value in a call with them?
Okay, this depends. If there is at all anybody in your industry that has done something that's at least similar, look at that and look at the result that they were able to generate and try to evaluate, okay, how well did they do with their service? How well did they actually build the product out? If there is truly no one in the entire industry that ever did that ever before, which I do think is hard to believe, but might be the case, right? If that is the case, bro, there must be a reason as to why you picked to launch that offer, right? Do you have any affiliation with that certain industry?
Well, the idea came from clipping, where people, instead of going for live streaming for hours, 3 hours, and finding 1 to 2 clips, rather than that, framing the whole live stream, or like strategizing before going live, and then discussing certain topics that has potential to be clipped and go viral. So that's the idea I had. So I took a concept from just clipping.
Mm-hmm. I see. So I have 2 answers to that, right? If I was in your shoes, if I was in your situation, obviously you have some affiliation with that certain industry and that certain offer that you try to promote. First thing I would do is I would look at the expertise that I have with that thing and try to evaluate how much money I could make somebody. Again, this is if there's truly nobody that I can refer to in terms of data. If there's nobody else, I would try to assess myself, okay, with my experience, with my expertise, first off, how much of an impact in terms of the client's reach would my service have in the time frame that we work together? And how qualified would that audience be for my average customer, given the ticket price that they charge? So how many customers or clients can they roughly expect at what price point, at what average cash collected. So I would try to evaluate it myself. That's the first one. And the second one is literally as straightforward as this. Literally get clients and see for yourself. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
Amazing. Any follow-up questions on that?
No. I had a separate
Right.
question. Is it a good way to, I need to talk about clients and finding the right client. Is it good to have a ideal client avatar? Because I don't really reach out to all the clients. It's just I have an avatar list in mind. I want this client to have certain things, certain followers, certain body language, how he speaks, how he communicate, and only then I reach out to him. So is it good to just follow an ideal avatar client? Because then you have kind of when you talk to them or not.
Bro, first off, fucking amazing question. I don't know how exactly I should pronounce your name. Is it Mudasar?
Madasa.
Mudasa. Bro, fucking amazing question, first off. Okay. So, Daniel, do you want to actually elaborate on that? Just to ask you in between?
Like I said, man, bro, this is a case for the ascension funnel, right? For me, I don't like to say no to money. You should have an ideal client profile, of course. You need to know your ideal client that you want to sell to on your highest ticket product, right? Because when you talk to the highest demographic, right? Like your ideal client, all the people that make less money, they listen, right? So that's where the ascension funnel comes in, where you speak to these people, right? But you also take the money of the unqualified people. Like you don't say no to money now. Like don't be crazy, man, right? So that would be the answer, man. But I will elaborate more on that on the masterclass, bro. That would be a good extension of an answer and something to really implement when you got all the information of the masterclass tomorrow.
Gotcha.
That's what's up. Any other questions?
None, not really. That's pretty much it.
Okay, amazing, bro. Quality questions, man. Love that.
Yeah, bro, I really love that question as well. That is actually something that we focused on a lot, like 2 months ago, roughly, really understanding our ICP, who we wanted to be. We made an entire list about it and everything, but we will elaborate more on that tomorrow as well.
Yeah, the problem I had with, so before this offer, I used to do like content coaching and stuff. But problem I had with back in the days, well, if I work with someone who's really unqualified, regardless of giving them the money, it's just when I spend time with them or kind of train them and help them out, it didn't really seem satisfaction. You know, I didn't really feel the satisfaction working with them. The call would be boring, even though you give them value, but you will realize they're also not listening. Sometimes they don't understand what you're saying. But if someone's qualified, who knows our algorithm a little bit, and who knows a little about social media, then you're talking to them, they also engage with it. So it's kind of give you like better satisfaction to work with them, and also you're more motivated to hop on a call with them and talk to those kind of people. So that's why I kind of had the.
I completely
Nice.
agree with you.
Bro, you need to have different set of products for these type of people, bro. Like, it just needs to fit in, man. Really. Like even with the examples that we have, like I have something for people that are coming from zero, bro. Like they know nothing, right? Extremely poor, or they're working a 9 to 5, and they're just trying to get into internet marketing, right? And get some set of skills, like some strategies that they can use, right, to run better ads, to find their first few clients. And that's literally what I call the Brokey course, right? It's for the poor people that want to get to 5K a month, right? And bro, that's for them. Like there's completely hands off, right? But the promise there is that when you get through it, you will feel like more confident, right? Being a digital marketer.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
the promise, right? So you want to have the right expectations and the right set of like deliverables for each stage of a specific client. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I also had one more question. So you guys are partnering, right? Is it a good idea to have a partner in the business, so you can? But if you can do it yourself, should you do it yourself?
Bro, you're asking amazing questions. Just wanted to say that first off. Daniel, do you want to go?
Bro, like this, it's a gut feeling thing, man. When it comes to partners, you just know, man. You just know. Like
Exactly.
when I, bro, like for me, like Elias is a simple story, right? That I didn't elaborate on. Was Elias actually had his own agency, fucking selling to real estate 70K a month, bro. Who is making 70K in this group? Who? Throw one in the chat. Who's making 70K? Okay. That's what's up. Bro, Elias was making 70K, bro. This guy dropped his own agency to collaborate with me and scaled this to 1 million. Right?
Gotcha.
So, bro, it's just a gut feeling, man. Like you'll notice when people are like, okay, no, this is my guy right there, right? And bro, it's something that will come naturally, bro. Like don't look for it. Like don't like, bro. It will come, bro. It will come, really. Like you should optimize for making as much money as humanly possible, just like just like Elias did. And then it was like, bro, like it just clicked, man, right? So yeah, that's pretty much my answer. It's just a gut feeling thing.
I mean, I still got
I
a few
completely
people
agree.
I want to partner with, like I'm gonna work with them. But the problem was before I started like this kind of business, I had another business, and I had a partner in that. What happened is because I was pretty young, so all the money would go to his account, and he did live in Switzerland. So he just one day run away with all the money. So after that, the red zone kind of built in midway, where every time I think of a partner, I feel like should I know?
Look, bro, at the end of the day, again, as Daniel said, that very much comes down to your gut feeling, right? Daniel and I fully trust each other 100%, right? So that's extremely important in the first place. And it's, again, not something you should force. The thing is this, it's not that having a business partner is better or having no business partner is better. It's always unique to the situation. We trust each other completely for 100%. And in addition to that, we know that together we will scale a lot faster, make a lot more money because it just perfectly ties into one another, right? So if you had that before, I can tell you why. Because what most people do when they start out, when they don't have any business experience, is they look for a partner just to have someone around, right? Which is not a good reason to have a business partner. So
Yeah,
does that make sense?
yeah. Kind of happened with my side as well. So you kind of need like. So I thought I need a partner to have like someone to keep me accountable. The problem was the profit split was too much. One's doing too much work, one's doing barely anything, but still spending the money, and the one they just run with the money. So after that, I kind of fucked up with partnering with people. Just started doing myself.
You see, that again comes down to complete trust that you have to have, because on both Daniel's end, on my end, we both work a lot, right? Because obviously it's not like building this amount of knowledge that we have and share and building the skill set and making money. It's not like that comes from nothing. Now you have to systemize and you have to be smart with it. But again, on our end, it's completely aligned and that's how it has to be. Does that make sense? And also, actually, one thing I want to elaborate on, this is very important. It's never about who works how much. And that's not how Daniel and I think. We don't think about that. What we think is what's the impact? Like the things that we do, what's the output? Because we control the output, right? How we prioritize and what certain action we decide to take has a real-time influence on the money that we make. So it's like, okay, do we shoot this video right now to provide value? Do we talk to our clients? Do we look at the ads? Do we talk to each other to be clear on certain things in the business, to make decisions, whatever it is? It all has to make sense. That's rather what we look at rather than workload. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Amazing. At the end of the day, bro, there's people I can guarantee you that work 1 hour a day that get done with more stuff than you do on a daily basis, even if you work 12. And on the other hand, there's also people that work 1 hour a day in comparison to what Daniel and I work, and they make way more and do way more in that 1 hour than we do. So again, it's obviously levels, but you should always seek to get a maximum output with a minimum input. That's what business is about.
Gotcha.
High leverage actions, man.
I have one more question. Is it good to just launch a business or have a branding vision behind it? Because I want to launch something that's kind of give it that premium branding vibes as soon as the client joins. It doesn't treat it like just another agency or just another business model you just joined to make some money. I want to have like a legacy of branding vision. So which would be a good idea?
Start before you're ready. Yeah, bro. Start before you're ready, man.
Exactly.
Bro.
Okay.
Data is guaranteed, man. Data is guaranteed.
We have another question. By the way, we'll round it off very soon. So if you have any other questions, drop it in the chat ASAP. What are your thoughts on influencers being the face of our clients' meta ads? Like Sam Ovens hired Alex Hormozy to promote the school games. Bro, it depends what you want.
Right? He didn't hire him, right? Like they are business partners in school games.
Yeah, they are partners, co-owners, basically. But
Yeah.
So, bro, my input on this would be, and I want to hear Daniel's thoughts here as well, but my input would be this. It depends on what you want. I'll give you an example. If your goal is to sell your company, sell your organization, right? So you do it not for the cash flow, you do it for, the long term and the big cash at the end. Absolutely. Because you either way don't want to be tied to the business with your own brand, because otherwise you can't sell it. And if you do have that in place, then you have to have a transition phase, which is very hard to do and takes a lot of work, right? So my point being, if your goal is to sell the business rather than just stacking cash with it, it's no problem. Even if you want to stack cash, you can do it. But keep in mind that if you don't intend to sell the business in the future, right, in the near future, but your goal is just cash flow right now, bro, you have to have a personal brand. I cannot stress this enough. Even if you have 10 fucking followers, I can guarantee you that it'll benefit you. So that's my thoughts, but I want to hear Daniel's thoughts as well.
Oh, pretty much ties into the same thing that I wanted to say, man. Really. It's just one answer to it, man.
Cool. Bro, Daniel, next question.
Ooh, that's a good one. Yeah. So, what's that one framework you guys would use when creating an offer, regardless to the niche or industry? Like, what's a must that an offer should have? Bro, for me, it's simple, right? Marketing and sales. I don't know, like you guys run agencies, right? Like we run a marketing agency over here. So for us, it's our product is primarily delivering Facebook ads, right? But we also solve for every single step in the funnel. We hugely give a fuck about our clients making as much money as possible, right? So what's important here is that you want to be as close as possible to the money and just make sure that is articulated in the right way towards your clients. But I will elaborate more on this one tomorrow. So, bro, stick with that one, man. That one is a very good question. Any other questions?
I actually want to elaborate on one thing because I was just typing in the chat. So Renz asked what types of books we recommend. I'm of the strong opinion that it's not really going to help you if we give you book recommendations. I put one in the chat that I like, which is Meditations by Marcus Aurelius. But bro, you know what the thing is? Books and videos and any type of input like that people consume and get a lot of, it is very, very much tied into the specific situation you're in. So a book that had a huge impact on me could have no impact at all on you because you might be in a completely different situation. For example, if you're the type of person, you were always structured and always had your daily structure in place, right? But I wasn't. If I read a book on how to structure your day and how to make habits work for you, right, will change my fucking life. For you, it won't do anything. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Bro, good question. Guaranteed. Like, why would you step into the deal talking about the guarantee, talking about losing? Like, that's the wrong mind frame to start a relationship with, right? Doesn't make any sense. Like, I never gave a guarantee ever.
By the way, also one thing to elaborate on, we never, ever get asked for a guarantee ever in the last year because we know how to properly communicate our value. We have a very high confidence in ourselves and our company and our product and the results it delivers. So people don't ask for it. It's a decision, yes or no. But to be fair, most people that want to join our products at this point in time, because of the results that we're also able to provide, apply to work with us rather than, you know, us trying to sell them. Never really happens.
Like it's also like it's the expectations, and bro, like guarantee, like even for us in our done for you offer, right? Bro, it's like 120K at its base, right? It's 10K per month at its base, and then we have the rev share on top of that. Bro, the rev share, that's my incentive to go into the deal, because I want to get paid 100K off of that one client, right? My previous goal was to hit 50K, but we did that just last month, so that's good. But yeah, I want to make 100K off of that relationship. So how the fuck? Like there are some things that they need to do on their end as well. I need them to record video ads, change up video VSLs. If ads fatigue, they need to take certain actions. They need to fire clients, and they need to fire certain closers. If that really affects the closing rate, like they need to do things on their end as well when it comes to like tweaking their product, like doing all of these things, right? And if they don't manage to deliver their part of running the business, like, bro, what are they going to do? Are they going to pay me what? Are they going to pay me double? Right? So, bro, it doesn't make any sense, right? So yeah, for me, like that's my thoughts on guarantees, man. Like nah, man. Like that's not starting the relationship, right?
Exactly. Just one thing as well, because we do have to go in a second. We're already running over time and we got lots of things to do. I would say we round it off. So yeah, was amazing to have all of you here again tomorrow, Wednesday, the 11th of December, 6 p.m. CET, that being Central European Time Zone, to 8 p.m. CET. So it will take 2 hours of us running through everything. It will take place. We will drop the link in the chat right now for anybody to register. If you want in, it's in the chat right now. I'm also going to share it with Aaron, so they can obviously give it to you guys whenever you want it. But yeah, that will be it. Daniel, do you have anything else you want to add to that?
Yeah, man. I just want to give a quick answer to Mudasar, because he asked, what is the best method you guys use when communicating the value to the prospect? Like what I do, bro, like I'm extremely straightforward guy. Like I'm super direct. I'm clear with my intentions. I'm concise, right? And in addition to that, I make sure that I financially model out the projections of the impact that we can have on the business, like how much money we can add to the business. Like I truly calculate that to the T in front of them, right? And I just ask if it makes sense, yes or no. And if they're willing to pay me and wire me fucking 50K or 100K on a rev share, right? If they're comfortable doing that. Like, it's really important to know that you need to communicate the speed to result, right? Because that's what you're optimizing for. See? And yeah, man, like that's what we do through financially modeling things out. So if you want to learn more about that, again, the masterclass is there. We're going to go in detail about how we communicate our offers to the people that we're trying to sell. And yeah, man, like you guys will learn a lot, man. I'll put you guys on some serious game. No joke. Like this is going to be sick. I hope you guys enjoyed this little pre-masterclass, as I would call it.
Speaking
had a
on
good
behalf
time.
of everyone else, sorry to interrupt you, Daniel. I just wanted to thank you both as well for coming on, and I know it's getting a bit over, so we will look to wrap things up. But on behalf of everyone, this call's been fantastic. I've taken away tons of value, and I'm looking forward to the call tomorrow as well, which we will push out for everyone else to join. So yeah, thank you guys for joining and having this call.
Thanks.
Love that, brother. Love that. It was amazing. Thank you to have you guys. Thank you for having us as well. And yeah, we will see you guys very soon again.
Let's go.
Take care, guys. Thanks for joining and having
Take care.
this call with us. All right, take care. Bye.
Of course. Okay.
Yeah.
Bye.